Oxford House is a fully self-supporting ran house whose primary purpose is to provide housing and rehabilitative support for people in recovery from drug and alcohol abuse. What if you could have long-term sobriety without the chance of having a relapse? Well, we can have that chance if you live in an Oxford House for 6 months or more. I'm going to cover 3 main points that is what the concept of Oxford House is about. First, Oxford houses have to be democratically self-ran. They also have to be financially fully self-supporting. And the third one is that there is a zero tolerance for drug or alcohol use or relapse. With a house being democratically self-ran, what that means is that everybody in the house has a vote in what happens with the house. We all have to be able to take and pay our fair share of the expenses. No, that's not it, actually. Democratically ran, excuse me, is that everybody in the house has a vote on what happens with the house. Whenever we have weekly meetings, and in those weekly meetings, everything about the house is brought to the table, and for example, like the rent and the utilities, the expenses of the house, chores that have to be done in the house, and different things like that. And those are discussed, and a vote has to be taken on anything for the house, like to pay the bills. We have to have a majority of the vote to do that. Another thing that is with the democratically ran part is that anybody that gets accepted or that wants to move into our Oxford House has to go through an interview process, and you have to have 80% of the vote of the house to be able to move in for it. With the next aspect of being financially fully self-supporting, all of the expenses for the house, the utilities, the rent, anything that, gardening or anything like that, has to be shared equally among all of the residents of the house. Then the last aspect of it is zero tolerance on the use of drug and alcohol. If within the house, if anybody is suspected to have relapsed or been using, the house has to bring before them and ask them to immediately leave the house. They have within a half an hour to get whatever they can and leave and take care of that. By having that as a policy, that just ensures that everybody in the house, our sobriety can be maintained and that we are kept safe with that. The Oxford houses, one of the tested and true things of the Oxford houses is that there was a study done by DePaul University that started in 1990. And in that study, they showed that 86% of the people that had lived in Oxford House for 6 months or more had been able to achieve long-term sobriety for over 5 years or more on that. Also in the studies or in the documentation, in 2010, there was over 24,000 people that have lived in Oxford houses, and of that 24,000, for approximately 4,600 had actually been asked to leave the houses due to a relapse situation. So in that, the chance for long-term recovery by living in an Oxford house is just a huge benefit to everyone that has had drug or alcohol addictions and problems in their lives. So in conclusion, the concept of Oxford House is that recovering alcoholics or recovering individuals can live together and in a democratically run home and support each other through that and become productive, happy members of society And Oxford House has been able to show that concept or prove that concept with at least 28 years of a proven track record with it. I hope you want to come live in Oxford House because it's wonderful. Thank you.
Yay!